Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Ilad in the marriage subreddit. The post is titled, "My mom is saying that I'm going to ruin my marriage if I didn't stop my husband from having an affair. For me, if he ends up having an affair, there's nothing worth saving. I don't know if I want advice just to vent or to ask opinions about infidelity. I have very strong feelings that if my significant other wants to cheat, I won't stop them. If they need to be stopped, they're not worth my love. I deeply believe I deserve someone who 100% willingly wants to be with me and wouldn't fall for temptation. Let's say it falls under my responsibility to try and stop them if I know they're going to cheat. But what about if I don't know? I'm married. We have been together for 4 years and married for 6 months. We just moved to a new apartment and little by little we have been renovating it. We're both crafty and want to create our dream home. We became friends with our neighbors who are also a couple. The woman is very beautiful and bubbly and I get along well with her. She said she envies us for renovating since her husband doesn't really like these things and refuses to give her money to start her own projects. She's a stay-at-home mom. I don't know about her situation with her husband, but the closer we got to them, the more I sensed that he's very careful with money. So I understand what she means, although I don't think he is financially abusive. Both my husband and I work, he works a lot from home. I've noticed that my neighbor is becoming increasingly friendly with my husband. She is very flirty and seems to have more in common with him, especially regarding things I don't really like hiking, but even small things like food or sweets. She has mentioned several times how much she has in common with him. Since she's a stay-at-home mom, she started making my husband his favorite food, and he has said on many occasions how nice it is that she cooks for him. Twice now, I've come home to find her there with my husband, helping him with renovations or just bringing him lunch. My husband doesn't seem bothered at all, which makes me think nothing is happening between them, yet. I was telling this to my mom, and she got so angry at my indifference. She said that I should ban my neighbor from being around my husband and tell him not to talk to her again. I told her that I want a husband who doesn't want to cheat. There are 4 billion women out there and I can't stop him from seeing all of them. He's the only one who can decide if his marriage is worth it. My mom called me deranged and is very upset with me. I don't know what to do. I have made my opinion clear to my husband that I don't appreciate our neighbor hanging around him, and I've even started cooking more at home. Other than that, I don't plan on having a contest with women to win my husband back. I've always believed that if they can take him, they can keep him. It may sound cold, but I don't feel that way at all. My heart is full of love for him, and I can't imagine myself cheating on him, even if I were in a room full of handsome men. I just want the same in return. He hasn't done anything yet, but he has texted her a few times, nothing flirty, but they have communicated. I hate it, but I don't know what to think. My mom says I'm enabling this just to see if he cheats so that I can discard him later, but all I wish is for him to choose me, without him knowing that I'm watching or that I'm asking him to choose me. User Arthritis Ankle said, I think having a clear and explicit conversation with your husband about boundaries is a good idea. It's possible that his vision of what's appropriate is different from yours, and he's not a mind reader. I'm not saying you should treat him like a prisoner or a child who needs constant monitoring, but being nonchalant might not be wise either. To this, OP said, he already knows my boundaries, and I made it clear that I don't appreciate her being there. However, I can't guarantee that it won't happen behind my back. User Typical Agency said, you can't stop someone from having an affair. If they want to, they will. This woman is your neighbor. She can come by any time. She doesn't have to text him if she knows you won't be home. I would keep an eye on things such as finances, their behavior, whether she leaves right away when you get home, and if you have cameras, monitor those as well. Most importantly, if you come home earlier than expected, don't tell him. I don't want you to be paranoid, but also never say never. Don't be afraid to tell her that she's being inappropriate. Some women tend to think that if you say nothing, then you are being ignorant or foolish. Update. Okay, I started this as a comment on my post from last night, but it became too long, so I thought maybe I should make an update since everyone is asking for one. I want to start with some explanations. My account is new because I'm not a regular Reddit user. I learned about it through relationship posts on Instagram and YouTube, and when I had a talk with my mom, I immediately thought of Reddit to get some perspective. I must say I'm very surprised by the support I've received here. After my mom's reaction, I thought I was completely in the wrong. Some people here suggested that I don't tell my husband next time I leave work early. Well, I didn't want to wait for that to happen, so I accidentally on purpose left my gym bag at home, asked my manager if I could take a couple of hours off around lunch, and sure enough, my neighbor was in my kitchen eating lunch with my husband. My husband looked nervous and guilty and said, "Yeah, we're having lunch here." They had leftovers from yesterday's dinner and ordered a pizza because we didn't have enough leftovers for two. So she didn't even make him lunch this time. I just said that I was there to grab my gym bag and left. Now I'm sitting in my car shaking. My stomach and heart are aching. He has called 3 times, but I just couldn't answer. He texted me this: "My love, I know you don't like it when she's here, but you have nothing to worry about. I love you." Now I'm trying to calm my nerves before driving back to work. He knows that I don't like it when she's there, and yet the few times I've left work early, she's been there. This means she's probably always around when he's working from home. Even if he knows I hate it, he still allows it. We have been married for 6 months. I know the first year is always hard, but I don't know. We are in our 30s and don't have children yet. We only own our apartment together. Maybe this wasn't meant to be. Perhaps it's better to call it a day now before there's more to lose. My mom will probably call me deranged again if I tell her how I'm feeling, but I'm very, very turned off by this. She can keep him. Edit. I'm sorry for editing all the time, but I'm at work now and won't be able to respond. I just got this text from my husband. I haven't answered his calls or texts because I need to calm down before talking to him. "Baby, you were right about X. I told her that she shouldn't be coming over anymore because my wife doesn't like it, and she said that she has feelings for me. You were right. I love you and don't want to lose you." I didn't answer him because what can I say? Now I need to go back to work. I can't ruin my marriage and my job on the same day. Edit again, sorry. Now I'm at my sister's place and I could just cry. I love him, but I can't do this. He has been calling and sending messages and screenshots all afternoon. I've just answered him this: "I love you, but I can't do this. I don't trust you with my heart anymore. Our definitions of love, respect for boundaries, and friendship are obviously very different. We probably need to call it a day before we become even more entangled and it gets more complicated. I need space to think. Please respect that, and I'll talk to you when I'm ready to discuss our future." He just called 3 more times, then texted, "Please don't do this to us. I love you. You're the love of my life. Please don't throw everything away in a moment of anger. Be angry with me, but come home and be angry. Take it out on me, fight me, hit me. If you only knew how much I love you and how nobody else in this world matters to me. Come home." I didn't answer because I don't know what to say. I'm going to bed now. I just want to cry. I don't want him to text or call anymore. Final update. Hi everyone, it's Sunday morning and I'm back home. My husband is staying with his parents. Yesterday, he showed up at my sister's place, puppy-eyed and all, with takeout from my favorite restaurant, flowers, chocolate, and ice cream. He started apologizing, saying that he loved me and that he would never hurt me. I asked him to be honest with me about whether he had feelings for her and if they had done anything. He swore that nothing happened and that he doesn't have feelings for her. I told him he wasn't being honest because why would he let her into my home, knowing how much it would hurt me if he had no feelings for her? Why risk our marriage? He couldn't answer that, other than to say he didn't think it was bad since he was secure in his feelings and in our marriage. He then admitted that he liked the attention. "So you knew before she admitted it that she liked you?" Yes. He gave me his phone to show me all his texts and told me to see how he never once flirted or made any advances. I don't know. I felt very sad reading and hearing all of this. I told him that they disrespected me. Her last text to him said that she loved him and that she would make him happier than I ever could. There were also messages with mean things about me, and instead of confronting her, he ignored her or laughed it off. When I asked him about it, he apologized and said she was obviously jealous, so he didn't want to engage. I told him that I wanted a separation because I didn't trust him anymore. He begged me not to go through with it. Then he said that I should at least come back home while he stayed with his parents. He also asked if I could promise not to start the divorce just yet and suggested we try couples counseling first. He said that he messed up very badly and wants me to give him time to make things right again instead of just divorcing him. So I moved back home this morning and he was here. We had breakfast together and then he left for his parents' house. I didn't want him to kiss me. He will be coming home when he needs to work in the office and probably if we start therapy. On those days, I can stay at my sister's place. She was more than happy to help. Right now, I don't want to see him for a while. I hate my kitchen now, which is sad because we put so much effort into making it exactly what we wanted. This next post was made in the breakup subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "Cheated on the love of my life, ruined our relationship, and my life has gone way downhill. Need advice." To start off, I am not here for pity. I take 100% responsibility for the actions I made that hurt my significant other and ruined our relationship. I could sit here and make excuses for why I did what I did, but none of that matters. What matters is that I did what I did and there is no taking it back. Sorry that this is long, there are a lot of details and I need to let this off my chest. Only one other person knows every single detail of what happened. So I started dating this girl in my junior year of college. She was a sophomore. Up to that point in my college career, I had slept with a decent number of girls and made some questionable decisions. The first time I saw her, I immediately knew she was someone special, and I wanted to settle down and have a legitimate relationship with her. We started talking, and soon after, we began dating. She was a virgin and knew about my experience, but I was more than okay with waiting until whenever she wanted to. I put no pressure on her at all. Honestly, I really liked her, and our relationship was so awesome that I didn't care that I wasn't getting any. About 6 months in, we were getting pretty serious. I took her virginity, we expressed the L word, and things were great. I was a model boyfriend, I didn't cheat on her, and didn't even think of other girls. She was all I wanted. That school year ended and summer was all right, but there was some tension because she would be studying abroad for a whole semester the following year, meaning she would be gone from the beginning of August until the middle of December. Immediately when she left, I began to worry about her being gone. I have pretty bad anxiety, and I think it stemmed from a control issue where she was thousands of miles away and I couldn't see her if I wanted to. It really started to get to me, but for the most part, we were okay. We talked on Skype almost daily, but neither of us was obsessive about needing to talk to the other. We respected each other. I especially respected that she was off having a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so I didn't want to be that boyfriend who was a jerk and didn't allow her to have a great time just because I couldn't be there, even though it really did bother me. That said, I think I kept a lot of issues about my anxiety and other problems in my life away from her that I used to be able to share with her. It was around November when my significant other would be coming home in the next month. The finish line was sort of in sight. Enter girl number 2. Out of nowhere, a friend who had started to become more than just a friend came into the picture. We hit it off right away because we were both into the same music and were really big car enthusiasts, and we were both really big partiers among other things. One night, we got especially messed up and ended up sleeping together. The next morning, I freaked out but thought everything would be alright. I knew this wouldn't happen again, and there was no way in hell my significant other would find out. When I tried to talk to girl number 2 about how we shouldn't do this again, that I had a girlfriend whom I loved, she freaked out and accused me of using her. This couldn't have been further from the truth. She honestly came on to me hard. For some reason, I lied to girl number 2 and told her we could keep doing this. Things weren't even that great with my significant other. I have no idea why I did this. I still loved my significant other, but started making up excuses as to why we weren't right for each other. How her going abroad for the semester had just magnified those issues. So began my full-on double life affair with girl number 2. When my significant other finally came back to the US in December, I was so excited to see her, but in the back of my mind, I kept thinking about the girl I had basically been dating behind her back. It started eating at me, and the double life was wearing on me. I think I subconsciously started acting differently around my significant other. Then it happened. My significant other caught me red-handed. She read through my texts while I was in the shower and saw messages between me and girl number 2 that were rather suggestive. Rather than be a man, I lied to her face, looking right into her eyes, telling her that it was a huge misunderstanding, that girl number 2 and I were strictly friends and that we had a weird, sick sense of humor, so those texts shouldn't be taken at face value. I know, bullshit, right? Well, being the loving, trusting person she is, she actually believed me. For the next week, the dynamics were really weird and I completely distanced myself from her. I couldn't even see her without feeling like and thinking about how awful our relationship was and wanting to end it. A week later, I broke up with her. I just told her I wasn't the right person for her and I didn't want to drag this out any longer, especially after her trust in me had been so compromised the week before. The truth is, I was too scared to face what I had done and just wanted to run away from it all. For some reason, I honestly thought that leaving her was in her best interest. I didn't want her to know what I had been doing behind her back and thought that just leaving her would be the best thing for her. I still loved her and wanted to stay with her, but felt stuck with girl number 2. After the afternoon I broke up with her, my now ex-significant other never tried to contact me at all. Long story short, with girl number 2, we started our official relationship and dated for about 4 months, taking us to May 20th, 11. About 2 months into it, I began to realize she was a really awful person, straight up sociopathic. She had no remorse for the relationship she had broken up and didn't care about anyone besides herself. It wasn't until after I ended things with girl number 2 that I realized just how messed up the whole ordeal was and what I had done. I immediately fell into a pretty deep depression, feeling terrible about what I had done, but still thought not talking to my ex-significant other was the best thing. My logic was that she probably knew I cheated. She was hurt, but it had been 4 or 5 months, so she might be starting to get over it. Therefore, I didn't want to stir anything up by getting back into her life, so I did nothing. A month later, my ex-significant other emailed me. She asked if I cheated on her and said she didn't really have closure on the situation. I knew this was where I should have done things differently. I responded with the most heartfelt, sincere message about what she meant to me and how much I messed up by what I did. I apologized, laid my heart out there, and eventually told her in the email that she deserved the truth, and that the truth was that I did cheat on her. I hoped that she would see my raw sincerity and apologetic tone. I didn't expect her to forgive me. In fact, I didn't know what I expected. What I really wanted more than anything was for us to be back together again, back like we were when things were perfect. She responded a few days later with a couple of pages of the worst things I had ever heard said about me. She completely overlooked any remorse or sincerity in my email. While I was extremely disappointed, I understood. She had every right to hate my guts for what I did to her. From this past summer until now, my life has been a mess. My drinking, which has always been a problem, has only gotten worse. I cannot even fathom talking to any girls. I feel guilty even speaking to them. I have gained 50 pounds, my finances have become unmanageable, and many friendships and relationships have been damaged. A lot of people on campus have no respect for me, which has changed my personality, among other things. Honestly, I cannot go more than 30 seconds from the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep without thinking about my ex-significant other and what I did to her. I dread sleeping because there's a good chance my ex will be in my dreams, either haunting me about what I did or in a dream where everything is perfect between us, making me think it's real life. Then I wake up and spend the day in a deep depression. I guess I'm obsessed with what I did to her, not with her as a person. I could move on from losing a girl. I've been there and done that. What truly haunts me is how messed up her life may have been or still is because of me. She lost her virginity to me. I was her first real relationship and the first person she was ever truly in love with. The whole point of this post is to ask, how can I start to move on? It has been almost a year and a half since the cheating and breakup, but I cannot get over what I did to the person I loved and still love. It consumes my life. I want nothing more than to see her and talk to her one last time, but even thinking about it scares the hell out of me. I just need to tell her that she is such a special girl and didn't deserve anything I put her through. I'm not a monster. I just made some awful choices that will forever haunt me. How should I move on with my life? Oh, and before the hate comes pouring in, I already hate myself for what I did. Also, I can be living proof that the whole once a cheater, always a cheater thing can be very untrue. After experiencing what this did to me, even for purely selfish reasons, I will never cheat on someone again. Again, I'm just a lost guy looking for advice on how to move away from this dark chapter in my life. Also, sorry this was super long, I just thought having the most detail would help. User Come On Man said, you made mistakes, certainly. However, there is no need to pay for them again and again. Seek the help of a friend, parent, family member, or therapist to work through these issues and try to move forward. I send positive thoughts your way, and you have my utmost respect for being able to articulate your emotions into such well-worded and heartfelt posts. I wish you well and want you to know that hope never dies. It doesn't sleep and it doesn't give up. It's always there, quietly waiting for you to pick it up, dust it off, and try again. I apologize for the wordy reply, but you tugged at my heartstrings and I honestly want nothing but the best outcome for you, whatever that may be. Thoughts and wishes for your speedy resolution and healing, my friend. This final post is titled, I didn't get a job because I was a bully in high school. I've been trying to break into a niche industry for a while now. I'm in my late 20s, and though it took me some time to decide what I wanted to do with my life, I have finished my degree and completed 2 internships. I'm currently working part-time in a related field and freelancing while searching for a full-time job in the niche industry. I'm willing to move for the right job, but I'd prefer to stay close to home. So I was thrilled last summer when I got an interview for one of the very few entry-level jobs available in my city. I ultimately didn't get it, but the interview went well enough that they encouraged me to apply the next time they had an opening. Then an acquaintance who works at the company called me up and asked if I wanted to get coffee. I figured she'd offer me tips on how to improve for next time. Instead, she told me to give up on ever being hired there. Turns out, a girl I had gone to high school with is a real rock star at this company, and she threatened to resign when it looked like I was about to be offered a job. I'll be honest, I wasn't a very nice person back then, and I probably was pretty awful to this girl. I looked up my former classmate, and her resume really is incredible. She graduated from college early and has received awards that people who've worked in our industry for twice as long haven't won. Her public-facing work is top-notch. I'm guessing she's the kind of employee a manager wants to keep around. My acquaintance's prediction appears to be true. I didn't get an interview for a new position at the company that would have been an even better fit than the one I interviewed for. When I asked why, I was told that a staffer had raised some concerns and that the company would not be moving forward with my candidacy. I'm heartbroken. I worked so hard for so long to get the training required for this type of work, and I don't think I deserve to be blacklisted for something I said when I was 17. I have my former classmate's work email. Should I beg for forgiveness? Update. I know you didn't solicit an update, but I felt compelled to send one. I wrote to you in the spring because I was having trouble breaking into a niche industry where a high school classmate I'd bullied was a rock star. I wanted to know if you thought apologizing would help me get a job. At the advice of your readers, I deleted the draft of an apology email that had been sitting in my inbox for some time. I applied for one more job with Rockstar's company, and when I didn't hear back, I decided it was truly time to look elsewhere. I found a shop in a town 7 hours away that was desperate to hire someone for a paid 9-month fellowship starting in June, because the candidate they'd originally extended an offer to found a full-time permanent position. I said goodbye to my boyfriend, packed up my car and 2 cats, and drove to a town I'd never been to, and I hated it. Not the work, I actually loved the work, but the town sucked. Being away from my boyfriend and family sucked. Not being able to make friends sucked. I called my boyfriend every night crying. He was supposed to visit me over Labor Day but canceled at the last minute because he had to work. Seeing how bummed I was, a coworker offered to swap shifts with me so I could make the trip home for the long weekend. I hopped into my car after work on Friday and drove all evening, arriving at the place I'd been sharing with my boyfriend before I moved a little after 1 a.m. Well, you probably know where this is going. He was cheating on me. I was devastated. I spent the rest of the night sobbing on my sister's couch and drove back to where I was working the next morning, except I couldn't make myself get out of bed on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I was fired after my 3rd no-call, no-show. I tried to get back the part-time job I'd had before moving for the fellowship, but they had found someone who was faster and more efficient than I'd been. Unable to afford a place on my own, I had to move back in with my parents. Not sure what else to do, I sent another desperate application to Rockstar's shop. In an effort to cheer me up, my sister and friends took me out for a nice birthday dinner at the end of September. This is where it goes from bad to worse. I drank too much wine at dinner and got pretty weepy. I excused myself from the table to try to pull myself together and ran into Rockstar and her husband celebrating their anniversary on the way to the bathroom. I ended up yelling and crying at her that she'd ruined my life. I was asked to leave and told that I wasn't welcome back. That was Saturday night. I spent Sunday hungover in bed trying to figure out how to clean up the mess I made. On Monday morning, Rockstar's manager emailed me to let me know that I had been removed from the candidate pool. She advised me that I would not be considered for future positions at their shop or any others in the network. That afternoon, without mentioning me or what happened at the restaurant over the weekend, Rockstar tweeted a long thread about how she had been bullied in high school and wished teenagers would realize that high school ends and it does get better. She also tweeted links to local mental health resources and the National Suicide Hotline, which were liked and retweeted many times. So, just to recap, no job, no boyfriend, no money, no hope of ever breaking into the industry for which I spent 5 years preparing. It's hard not to feel like some of this is Rockstar's fault, especially given how she rubbed salt in the wound after my whole world came crashing down. User Daisy Twig said, I work in a small industry and you better believe that everyone knows everyone. If you are a terrible person, you're going to have to move far away to get another job. User X Jownage said, if Rockstar was bullied by her over a decade ago and still remembers it to the extent that she refuses to work with her, I have a feeling it was extremely vicious bullying. Oh, and then she blames the girl she bullied for her life falling apart. This is the other side of one of those feel-good revenge stories where the bullied person gets back at the one who scorned them.